G'day, my Chilli Con Carnage Crew, and on this episode I get to review a band that a friend introduced me to nearly 10 years ago with Alt J's newest album, The Dream. Before we wake, let's get some more REM with the band and their history. Alt J are an English indie rock band, although they may be best summarised as folktronic music. Their band name is taken from the shape of a triangle, in particular the Mac shortcut to make the symbol, which is Alt and J of course. The band originally was made up of Joe Newman on guitar and vocals, Will Sainsbury on additional guitar and bass, Gus Ulner Hamilton on keyboard and backing vocals, and Tom Sonny Green on drums, which has to be a cruisy gig. I say this because Alt J's style is rather minimalistic in approach. Quite a few tracks have little or no drumming on it, but to be fair, this adds to the band's flair and signature sound. The other interesting aspect is the guitar tone, which was first achieved by trying to play a guitar quietly and not to wake up people, and they even used a roll of electrical tape to tap on the guitar notes. It's overall an interesting blend of styles. They released their impressive self-debut album in 2012 called An Awesome Wave, with standout tracks being Breeze Blocks, Tessellate, Matilda, and of course Taro. Well, it's been 10 years since that release, and they have 3 other studio albums since then, with 2014's This Is All Yours, 2017's Relaxer, and of course, the reason for today's episode, 2022's The Dream. So enough of this, let's dive into their newest album. Bane is up first and starts off with a
cold and sizzling.
Did Alt J just put an advertisement on their album? Did they? Seriously though, I heard the band talking about writing this song based on how good cold Coke tastes when in a pool on a hot day, despite how unhealthy it is. It's nothing too complicated. It's a great opening track as it builds to a crescendo and falls back down to reality, only to be built up again. You and Me is the following track and isn't a bad follow-up. It's a fairly groovy track and the lyrics are open enough. Whether the narrative of the track is sung in past or present times is a little bit open, but I guess the closing lines of the track may seal the deal. Let me know below or on Twitter what you think this song is about. Hard Drive Gold is the next track, and who would have thought that cryptocurrency would get its own song? With the main line of "Don't be afraid to make money," boy, it's almost Wolf of Wall Street for the tech savvy. It's a very catchy song. Happier When You Were Gone is an Alt J song that lost me. I don't mean lyrically, I mean musically. It's a bit generic and forgettable. Kind of ironic given the title. The Actor is next, and this track is an interesting track. The song talks about an up-and-coming actor who is trying to make it big, and of course, drug use and cocaine. I won't say too much, but it's definitely a song worth hearing. Kind of a BoJack vibe. Get Better is the next track, and this is a very light and somewhat ambiguous song for most of the part. The delivery of the vocals are done so to keep us on the edge of our seats regarding the story. The story in question is about the singer and their partner reminiscing over past memories with vivid imagery. The memories are nice at first, but when mixed with the lines "Get better soon," you know it will take a dark turn. And sure enough, when it does, we feel like we are over his shoulder when the events transpire. By far, one of the darkest pieces on the album, and highly personable to Joe. This song's gotta be darker than their track Taro. A masterclass of songwriting here as I feel the emotions. Chicago is the next track and is in a rather different style to the rest of Alt J's old stuff. The music seems to have a house beat throughout the majority of the track with its concert kick throughout the song. It should be of no surprise that this track was written in Chicago of all places. Philadelphia is the next track and the second American city title track. Going for a theme here, Alt J? Surprisingly, it wasn't written in Philadelphia. This is Alt J's attempt to encapsulate the sound of the Beatles. Must be the more Sgt. Pepper's sound. I don't really like that album, or the band for that matter. In fact, the only Beatles I'll listen to is Oasis. I guess I'm trying to say, I really don't like this song. Walk a Mile opens with a barbershop quartet styled intro before we hear the usual minimal guitar take up the mantle. It's not a bad track. Brings the right elements of psychedelic to this spacey tune, unlike the previous song. It is a long track for a slow piece, so it can feel like it goes on for a bit, but if you are in the right headspace, then this track would be a perfect getaway. Delta is a vocal harmony interlude track that Alt J fans would be accustomed to by now. Losing My Mind is the following track and is a dark song which follows the path of a serial killer. It's certainly an interesting angle to a subject matter especially as complex as this. I don't think I've ever heard a song in this nature. Really powerful music. Powders is the album closer, and is a much lighter and upbeat tune than the previous. A simple and jaunty guitar riff plays out over repetitive lines, and free house are two of the greatest words to hear at 16. A great way to close this album. Alt J have fast become a staple for the indie rock or folk pop scene, or whatever the people want to label it these days. Alt J have achieved a sound so different with a minimal approach, and that is truly impressive. This is helped by Joe's vocal deliveries that sound like he is half awake. I must admit, I didn't hear too much of their Relaxer EP, but playing bits of it, I see the evolution to this latest album. It seems to be a blend of Relaxer and their first album. There are elements of electronic dance mixed within, but nowhere near as much as the previous album. At the same time, it's not as laid back in demeanour as the first album. Overall, I give the album 900,000 chilies on the spicy scale, with the best tracks being Bane, Get Better, and Losing My Mind. Maybe it's because I'm still not a big Alt J fan, the score is a bit lower. I mean, I like them, but not love them. And in the end, this scale is just my opinion. Now, if you are asking why I love the darkest tunes on this album, well, it's a simple answer really. A story is more interesting and memorable when it's dark. Also, I'm a huge Nick Cave fan, and when you have an album called Murder Ballads, then this might be a stepping stone. Don't get me wrong, there are also songs in this EP that I enjoy that are more dance-worthy as far as an Alt J song goes, but Joe can surmise these stories perfectly. This is a great album by a great band. Check it out now. Thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please consider liking it and sharing it with your friends. And also don't forget to subscribe to our Chilli Con Carnage Crew to stay updated on our newest videos. We're also on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Live Listen Erased. Please join us on those media platforms for all kinds of updates and discussions regarding music. And as always, stay spicy.